We're going to Zoom somebody in.
Awesome.
And you will talk. These are, I don't know who they are, and I haven't been briefed, but we put a notice out on social media the other day and said you were going to be here. So let's see. Oh, here we go. You can look at her right there.
Awesome. Hi.
Oh, we can't hear.
We don't hear her.
Oh, darn.
All right.
Maybe I could read her mind.
There you are. Talk now.
Hi.
Who are you?
I'm Audrey Rose.
Hi, Audrey.
Wait, are you Audrey Rose?
Yes, that's my full first name.
Audrey
Look, you got
Rose.
it.
I love it. Amazing.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Do you have a question for Tyler?
Yes, so I was wondering, have you had any bad, scary experiences with evil entities? Like, what's your spookiest experience?
Oh, it's a great question. Thankfully, the nature of my work is a little different than our friend here who had the person appearing at the hotel and all that.
Yeah.
Right.
With the nature of what I do, being that I work off of the premise that I think that most of the people I'm connecting with have gone through a process of a life review, of obtaining some sense of clarity and understanding. I generally bring through people who come through with a lot of hindsight and awareness, and they seem to almost be better versions of themselves. That said, there were moments earlier on in my teenage years where I had a very frightening experience. Our home actually started getting a bunch of paranormal activity. I attribute it to being a very hormonal teenager and perhaps some poltergeist stuff that was going on. But there was one instance where I was laying in bed and I had
So it was parahormonal.
Parahormonal. Yes. That was good. I was laying in bed one day and I heard my mom come into the room, and my head was into the pillow and I was kind of faking being asleep. And she came in and I started feeling this hand run through my hair. And I thought, oh, my mom's giving me a scalp massage. This is great. She thinks I'm asleep. We're going to, take this for all it's worth. And so I feel the hand running through my head, and then it just suddenly started getting a little tight. And I started feeling my nose kind of get pushed into the pillow. And then when I went to go lift my head out of surprise, I got fully pushed into the pillow, like completely pushed. I couldn't breathe. I was squirming around, trying to scream. My mom runs down the hall into my room. I look up, and she wasn't the one touching my head. She wasn't the one who pushed my head into the pillow. Something
Tried to kill you.
Tried to hurt me at the very least. And that is the only time that I've ever had something that was frightening. But I can attribute that to a lot of what was going on. There was a lot of negativity at the time. Hormones were raging. There was a lot of conflict. And it just didn't make for a very good spiritual environment.
I'll tell
when
my
I
daughter
was-
when she's hormonal,
I know, but
bitch. Watch out.
Poltergeists happen among teenagers, teenagehood. That's very often when you see activity happen.
When I was a teenager and going through hormonal changes and puberty, I remember something in my room that happened with a hand too, but it's...
I heard that was. I heard the laugh.
You know,
the other room.
Some of us get spiritual dreams. Some of us get hormonal dreams.
Like yours, it wasn't my mother.
It wasn't your mother.
Yes.
Oh no. There's therapy. We could talk after.
All right. Well, thank you for your call and thank you for your question.
Yes.
Do we have another one? Do we have another question? What?
No.
Do you have a question?
Oh, let me think. What do I want to know about myself?
Do you want to know anything about me?
Oh, yeah. Have you ever had a visitation from someone who's passed?
I did.
Yeah, like without a medium.
I did.
Wow.
And the truth of the matter is that I didn't. I was in total denial, and it is my father. And now that I believe in it, you said at the beginning of this, you said there are people that believe in coincidence. What was the...
I mean, there's two types of people. The people who see the value in meaningful coincidences when they happen, and then you have people who don't.
So I've had a couple of very meaningful coincidences, which were only chalked up to shit happens.
I see.
You know, and then when I definitely became a believer,
Yeah.
I looked back on these things and I went, oh, this has more value than just the word coincidence. And I feel that was a message and that was communication. And again, you as a non-believer, and you know who you are, will say it was just a coincidence.
Sure.
And I'm just making myself feel better to say that it was something else. But it is just so strange and so... I'm not going to bore you with mine, but you should believe. I mean, I'm not telling anybody what to do. Do we have another person on? Patrice is on? Is that Patrice? Patrice is coming up. Patrice Ford. is one of our.
Just audio.
It's just audio.
Just audio. We got.
Okay, Patrice doesn't want. Oh no, there's Patrice.
Hi, Patrice.
Hi, Patrice.
Hey, how y'all doing?
I don't know how all of us are doing, but some of us are fine.
We're in good spirits, Patrice.
So I see what you did there.
I'm stoked to be here. Thank y'all so much. I just don't know.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd love to hear your question.
Look at you copycat.
I know.
I'm just referring to the
That's
HT.
not a copier. That's a printer.
Is that a copier or a printer behind you?
I think it does both, maybe.
It's a printer.
Can't you do copies on a
It's
printer?
a printer. No,
Can we-
I'm at work, and
Oh.
it's the little cheap version. So
Oh, do they know that you're calling into a podcast?
they know that I have a meeting.
With Tyler Henry and Howie Mandel.
They don't.
Don't
know.
disturb her. She's in a meeting.
That's right,
Go
everybody.
ahead. What kind of business is this?
It's a nonprofit.
Because you're always in a meeting. If you would take some time and do some work, there might be some profit. And if there was some
so that's
profit, I have
enough.
an agent that's willing to take 20%.
There you go.
There I go. Go ahead. Do you have something to ask Tyler?
Yes.
Okay, I do.
Yeah.
So, this has been going on for a while, and I haven't said anything to anybody because I didn't want anybody to think that I was schizophrenic or anything.
Gotcha.
But I hear voices.
Oh, wow.
I hear someone calling my name to the point that I wake up.
Wow.
Like, yes, and it's not like a Patrice, it's like Patrice.
Right.
And sometimes I hear knocking
Yeah.
to the point that I've jumped out of the bed and
Yeah.
opened the door.
Sure.
And it's gone. It's happened frequently enough that I know I'm not natural.
Yeah. All right. I love that you asked that question, Patrice, because there's something called hypnagogia. It's a big word, but it actually refers to the state between wakefulness and sleep. And it's that state that we get in when we find ourselves kind of lapsing into a dream. And that state is rife with spiritual opportunities. Some of the greatest thinkers, artists, geniuses use that time to kind of open up their minds, connect to a more unconscious state, and oftentimes bring forward creative inspiration. I remember there was even an instance, I think it was Salvador Dali, who used to hold onto a spoon, and as he would fall asleep, he would hold it in his hand and the spoon would drop. And the goal with that was that when the spoon fell, that it would wake him up and he would be able to think and immediately recollect that information in hypnagogia. So many people will hear information in that in-between state. As long as it doesn't frighten you, I think that it can actually be an indicator that there's someone there, some form of a connection, some, perhaps love that is watching over you. And I think how we frame it can be very important.
It isn't scary.
Good.
It's just weird.
Yes.
And it's not always a female voice. Sometimes it's a male voice.
Yeah.
And I think the knocking maybe scared me more
Sure.
because I get online and I look at things and they say if you ever hear knocking, never let them in because you don't know who it is. So now I'm like,
Generally
oh
good
my
advice
God.
if you don't know, but I would just say, prayer is very valuable. Intention for me is the root of all spirituality, just on a basic level. And if you ever feel uncomfortable, assert yourself, express yourself. This is my home. This is my house. I welcome people who, love me and I love everybody else. You can hit the road, and just setting those boundaries and doing it with confidence is really important. So thank you for your question, Patrice.
Patrice,
Thank you so much. Yes.
that was me. Just testing.
Just
And
was a
that's
disembodied
how I would wake up like,
Okay.
yes.
It's Howie.
yes.
It's how we sleep. Well, thank you, Patrice.